Welcome. I'm Michael Bickert. Thanks for joining me today as we explore concepts designed to improve your management skills and grow your business. Grab a pen. There's a special edition today. I want you to have some notes that you can take away and implement something in your business today. We're doing things a little bit different today because we've recorded many videos and posted them to our YouTube channel, and perhaps you've watched several of them. Maybe you've only watched one or two. But I wondered if somebody asked me, where should I get started? What are the most important things that I need to know? What are the best tips to grow your business? What would I direct them to? I commonly say, have you watched my videos? I've got lots of them. But you don't want to send someone away to start watching and plowing their way through so many videos. You want to sort of start at the beginning. So I thought of the notion of compiling a top 10 list. And it was a little more difficult than I thought. I thought it would be, walk in the park. But everything is so integrated in business. And that's why there are so many videos. And that's why there doesn't seem to be any shortage of new ideas to come out with. Because as my clients and various stakeholders in the business and staff ask me questions, I realize, there's an opportunity. You're not the only one who has that question. I should probably do a video on that and elaborate on that concept. And when I'm recording a video, a lot of times I will realize, boy, I could really elaborate on that particular point a lot more. We could do a separate video just on that and get more granular. Anyway, I wanted to put together a list for you of where to get started. And as I say, it was a little bit difficult. Actually, I think the most important or the most difficult part of it was sorting them in order. I didn't want to cop out and say these are in no particular order. I wanted to give them to you in reverse order. I'll start at 10, work my way to number 1. Number 1 being the most important thing you need for success in your business. And of course, that's subjective. That is my perspective, and you may argue that point, and that's fine. But I did want to sort of give some rhyme or reason and rank them and sort them in such a way that you could prioritize where to get started. Now, I have not memorized the titles of all the videos, but what I want to get across at this point is that everything, all 10 of these business concepts that I discuss, we have recorded videos on in which I elaborate on the concept. And I can elaborate more and get even more detailed about these concepts if you want to learn more about them. But I won't necessarily say the name of the video, but rest assured in the video description, in the description section, we will have it organized for you in a way that you can click. We'll also use cards. I think YouTube only allows for 5 cards and there's 10 things. And even with each of these concepts, sometimes we've recorded multiple videos that cover the topic. And so you'll be better off looking in the description than clicking on the cards, I suppose, to get the information you're looking for. All right, so let's get started. Without further ado, what are the top 10 things I need to implement, or what are the top 10 concepts I need to drive success in my business? And the first one, or rather number 10, is to understand the sales process. Okay, because we're all in sales. We all have to influence. We all have to be persuasive and convince customers about the value that our product or service offers. And you don't have to be a salesperson per se. You may not be engaged face-to-face with a customer in selling, but don't kid yourself, you always need to be selling. And that's why I've taken the time to put together, I think it's 3 separate videos. One is on the traditional sales process. Second one is on a virtual, more passive sales process that would be involved in, say, e-commerce. And then the third one is answering the question of whether you need sales reps or customer service reps. But I'm here to tell you that when I was trying to think of the top 10 things for success in your business, number 10 was you need to understand the sales process. You need to understand sales and the psychology that goes into sales and influencing people and being persuasive, because that's what it's all about. You know, all of your profits come from sales and revenue, and so you have to understand what is the sort of the nuts and bolts, what's the anatomy of the sales process, and don't be afraid of it. Watch the videos we have. That's number 10. Number 9 has to do with management, and I recorded a video called The 4 Obligations of Management, and this was after seeing that certain problems recur within an organization. And this is really, really important. This was one of those ones that I'm like, number 9, this should be way up on the list. However, I know that a lot of my audience doesn't have a big team. And so you want to apply the concept of the 4 obligations of management to all stakeholders, but it's maybe more useful for those that have larger teams. So if you're in an organization of several hundred employees and you have a management team that reports to you and they have people that report to them, this is very useful, the type of concept that you will use with your staff. And not only will you implement it as a manager yourself to be a better manager of your team, but you will teach these concepts to your team and use my video to do that. So the 4 obligations of management, and I'm not going to go into them right now. This video would take forever if I tried to elaborate too much on each of these concepts. Again, go down into this description and click on that video. The 4 obligations of management are so critical because most people, they don't really understand what management is. And I've taken the time to do 2 separate videos. We're going to get into one of them further up the list on management and describing things so that you can make it really simple. Just focus on the things that are discussed in the 4 obligations of management and ask yourself, these are obligations. Am I living up to my obligations as a manager of my business and of my team? Okay. So number 8 is the second management video that I talked about, and that is Management 101. And this is the idea of not necessarily what do I do in terms of obligations to my team, but understanding management as a process. That's why I call it Management 101. If there was a real quick university course that you wanted to take, entry-level management, just at the basic level, the proverbial 101 course, it would be Management 101. And it's a very short video. You can watch it and understand. And so here's a little teaser, a little trailer, and that is that there are 5 steps in Management 101. And I go on to explain that most managers break management down to 2 steps, or they commonly, maybe they don't even think about it, but they commonly just engage in 2 primary things as managers. And I make the point that that's not real management. That's very commonplace. If you wanted to be an exceptional manager, if you wanted to be a very effective manager, you need to go on to steps 3, 4, and 5. I say that step 3 is what it's all about. Steps 4 and 5 are necessary. They're requisite steps because of what is discussed in step 3. And step 1 and 2 is the main things that you think about when you think about management, but there are recurring problems that people encounter as managers, and it's because they don't understand the concepts discussed in Management 101. Okay, we're up to number 7. The 7th most important thing that you need to understand for running your business and success in your business is that you have to align stakeholders' objectives. If you want to be successful, you need to make sure that all the stakeholders in your business, and we should define those just real briefly here. Of course, you as a shareholder, as an owner of your business, as an entrepreneur, you're maybe the primary stakeholder. You and your business partners, those that own the business, are stakeholders, of course. The next is your team, those that work for the business. Perhaps they don't own a share of the business, but they have a vested interest in the success of the business. And then, so when we talk about our team, maybe you want to break that into management is maybe the secondary stakeholders. And then the third one would be, let's call them the operational staff or the front lines crew, who maybe aren't specifically involved in management, but they are where the rubber meets the road. They carry out the day-to-day functions of the business. They're obviously stakeholders in your business. Another stakeholder in your business is the vendors that you deal with, your suppliers. Don't forget about them. Another one is your customers. Your customers are major stakeholders in your business. Your customers have a great vested interest in your success because you provide value to them and they want value. We all want to spend our money, and we enjoy engaging in commerce when we are exchanging for things that we need, that give us benefits, that solve problems that we have, fulfill needs that we have. And so your customers are major stakeholders. And I always add that the surrounding community as well, the community in which you engage in business. And some of you have huge national and international businesses. Those businesses, of course, have a broader range of community by definition. And those who operate in a local market, maybe even just within a particular neighborhood that you service, those people are stakeholders in your business as well. Now, you have to align your objectives with all your stakeholders. You have to spend some time figuring that out. And we have at least one video on that. In fact, I'm sure we have two. Look down in the description and you can get some information on that. Number 6, the number 6 thing has to do with bringing to fruition your very best ideas. Imagine how successful your business would be if you could bring to fruition, if you could implement your very best ideas. I always say that ideas are a dime a dozen, but implementation is where it's at. And so you need to have effective strategies for implementing your best ideas. Just ask yourself that question again and again. Have you had good ideas? And if you could really implement your very best ideas 100% of the time, how much better off would your business be? We discuss in at least one video the concept of RACI, which is responsibility, accountability, consulted, and informed. And this is a tool, a strategy to implement business. So make sure you check out that video. Click on that because that's number 6. Number 5 is to eliminate waste. Become a very efficient and lean running operation, and you will mitigate the risks of business to a great degree. You will outperform your competition. If your competition is wasteful and they are not very efficient, not very lean, then you can undercut them on price, you can get better quality, and so on. So we have a video that it will be in the description that talks about how to eliminate waste. Your business is wasting away, how you can make sure that you can systematically eliminate forms of waste. And don't assume that you understand this intuitively. This is a great video because if you're not familiar with the concept of the 7 and then one bonus, the 8 forms of muda, or muda is the Japanese word for waste, you need to take some time to study that. And then you will, what you want to do is memorize the 7 and 8 forms of waste and just make it cultural, where everyone in your organization is relentless in eliminating waste. To the degree that you eliminate waste, you will find greater and greater efficiencies, and you can offer more and more value. You'll be more profitable is the bottom line. So number 4, stick to your strengths. The number 4 thing, the most important, the 4th most important thing on my list is stick to your strengths. For goodness sake, you cannot be all things to all people, and that goes doubly in business. If you want to have a successful business, stick to what you do best and then try to delegate, eliminate, or automate the rest of the things. Take the stuff that is not your forte, your weaknesses. Those things will bring you down, and they'll bring your business down with you if you don't learn. So you have to do a little introspection, figure out what is it that you're good at, and stick to doing those things. That's great news. That means that because you're an entrepreneur, because you own a business, you get to focus on those things that you really enjoy doing. People mostly enjoy doing things that they're great at. And the things that you consider your weaknesses typically are things that you don't enjoy doing. So that's the great news about this. And I'm here to tell you that success comes from sticking to those things that you're best at. So don't waste any more time on your weaknesses. Find ways to implement those things through other resources. And we have a video on that. What are we up to here? Number 3. This is put first things first. It's one of the 7 habits of highly effective people. And we have really, I think, 3 videos on sort of what you might call time management, prioritization, putting first things first. And this is very much related to sticking to your strengths, but put first things first. In the video that we discuss this, I bring out that chart, the quadrants about the tyranny of the urgent and things that are important versus things that are just urgent, and any combination thereof. So spend some time, and you might think, oh no, I've heard of that before, I understand that, I don't have to do that. I would at least once per year go back, watch that video again, explore the concept, or read the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Read that, every couple of years, but at least take the 15 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever it is, to watch that video and remind yourself and go through the exercise of figuring out where it is that you're spending your time. Are you victim to the tyranny of the urgent? Now, this is way up near the top. We're on number 3, because you will be incredibly ineffective and your business, again, will go under if you don't put first things first. If you're not working on those things which are most important to your business, those things which are most important to your success and happiness in life, because it's not all, of course, your business is a means to an end. Your business is a big part of your life, but it is a vehicle that should provide you freedom and opportunities to pursue those things that are most important to you. So the only way to do that is to develop the habit of putting first things first. And it is a habit. It is a discipline. You have to practice this. So don't assume you know it. This is high on the list for a reason. Number 2, what's the second most important thing that you can do to drive success in your business? Pursue the greatest opportunities first. There are diminishing returns in business. So when you're brand new in business, you're making headway by leaps and bounds. You're making progress, you're making improvement, innovations abound, and you'll find yourself quickly finding things that need improvement. So you need to spend some time analyzing those things and sorting them. You can also, I haven't done a video on the concept I'm about to bring up, but you can do this grid where you plot things in terms of the benefit they'll add to your business on one axis, and on the other axis would be based on the practicality of implementation. So I'll do a video on that one as well, and we'll link it in here later. But we do have videos on that speak about the importance of pursuing the greatest opportunities first, the lowest hanging fruit. So you have to do an evaluation and determine. So you may think, and you may be overwhelmed by, wow, there's 50 things. And if you're being honest with yourself, you could probably come up with no less than 50 things that could use improvement in your business. But that's overwhelming. Instead, sort of put them all down somewhere. That's fine. Document them in a spreadsheet, in a database, and then sort them according to the biggest opportunity. And, if you can factor in practicality of implementation, because there may be a great opportunity by adding a particular team member or piece of equipment, some major capital investment, but it may not be practical right now. Even though that's a huge opportunity for improvement, you have to ask yourself, when you factor in both the practicality and the benefit, where does it fall? And pursue the lowest hanging fruit, the biggest opportunity first. And I don't think those are synonymous. The lowest hanging fruit might be sort of the easiest thing to implement. And that's one way about going about this, but that's not really what I'm trying to say. So maybe I shouldn't have said the lowest hanging fruit. Instead, what is going to make the biggest, something that you can implement, that is practical to implement, that'll make the biggest improvement. And just sort of go through your list and chip away at those things. And then the number 1, what is the most important thing you can do to drive success in your business? And that is to understand that which is measured improves. You need to measure and you need to create. We have a video about report cards. We have a video about accountability with your people and how to get the most out of your people. But the main person you need to get the most out of is yourself, and you need to get the most out of your business. And it starts with measuring performance analytics. You have to define those things that lead to the objectives that you're trying to accomplish. And then you have to put measurements in place. And I've said it before, that may be a little bit boring. It may be a little intimidating. It's not sexy per se, but it's imperative. You have to look at reports and performance analytics, the metrics, the performance metrics that are most important to the accomplishment of the objectives you have for your business, such as profitability, such as maybe driving down expenses, and there's many, many more, conversions, return on your marketing investment. We go through that. Click on the video to watch and to see a sample report card. If you don't know where to get started, that's what this is all about. You have to measure and you have to go back. And what'll happen is you will find number two, right? You will find what I talked about as the number two most important thing, which is those greatest opportunities for improvement. Because of your measuring, which is the number one most important thing you do, you will be able to discover those greatest opportunities and the low-hanging fruit, those things which can be easily corrected to give you meaningful benefits. And then how to do that, you can go down to number 6, which is the RACI concept and figuring out how to implement your very best ideas. So that is, in a nutshell, the 10 most important things you can do to drive success in your business. You may disagree with the order. You may have thought, wow, there's a glaring omission, and I have way more videos than there are things on this list. So obviously there are a lot more important things, or rather there are a lot of important things to implement in your business. These are the ones that, as I did a scan of the various things I've talked about up to this date, that are the most important. So I hope you will take the time to go through at minimum these 10 videos, or rather these 10 concepts, and the 10 to 15 or maybe even 20 videos that cover this, and make meaningful improvements in your business. That's what it's all about. Take notes through every one of those videos, and you will find those 50 things I said at minimum that you can improve. You might find 100 things, and that's a great thing. It's a little intimidating to be at a spot in your business where things are not going as well as you had hoped, but you can't think of a way to improve. That's the worst place to be. The best place to be is, well, of course, ideally things are going really, really well for you, but failure is a really important part of the success journey. And so when you realize and you've taken notes about, wow, there's just so many areas in which I could improve, that is a very liberating experience and feeling to get, because now you can start to organize those and chart them by what we talked about before, about implementation and the practicality of implementation versus the benefit, the weight of the benefit you'll get. And you can start plowing away at these things and your business will grow. And this is about differentiating you from the competition. It's a mad world out there, and you've got people ready to eat your lunch. You've got people that are competing, and they're good, and they are hungry, and they want their business to succeed. So you owe it to yourself and those relying on you, your dependents and your other stakeholders, to make your business the very best it can be. Thanks for tuning in today. Please put something in the comments if there's something I forgot, something you want me to elaborate on, another video you want me to make, or something that the community that reads the comments can benefit from. Put it in there. Let's learn from one another. Perpetual refinement.